And hello, everybody, and welcome here to Coca-Cola Super Speedway. So we're getting set for pole day qualifying for next Sunday's Coca-Cola race for the first race of the second season of the Winston Cup Series. Right now, we got some drivers still haven't come out on the track yet. Qualifying has just gotten underway. This is the go or go home drivers. We have 14 drivers trying to vie for seventh spots. 49 drivers are here for the 42 starting spots. When this is all said and done, we are going to send 7 drivers packing as they will be going home and not get to race next Sunday. Here's one of the drivers that will be racing later this weekend. That's Carlos Rodriguez, Craftsman Truck Series driver from last season. Back for a second season over in the Truck Series. He's locked in the show in that series. I believe he's also going to be running in the Busch Series as well. And the engine just let go on that number 37 machine, just as he was going to get up to speed. Not the way you want to start off qualifying with an engine problem, so they're going to have a lot of work to do to get that car fixed up. That's Chloe Erickson right now in the as 37 currently still losing speed down the back straightaway, putting down some oil. So Chloe Erickson, that's Dylan Ibrahimian, Samad Ozkin, a couple of drivers that will have to qualify on time. Same with Carlos Rodriguez. Those 4 cars have no owner points to fall back on to get a provisional. As Carlos just got his car off the track, thankfully, and out of harm's way. It looks like he's not going to make it back to the pits. So they'll get someone to push that 37, get a brand new engine in that car, and get him for qualifying. So we'll follow Chloe Erickson now, the unsponsored Dodge. As I said, this is one of the cars that will have to qualify on time due to the fact this car has no points to fall back on to get a provisional. So that's really important here for her. I'm Dee DeVos, by the way, in the booth, if anybody doesn't know me. And if you just tuned to this channel, first off, where have you been? Second off, you missed a very exciting race we had here yesterday for the Cup drivers. As Chloe Erickson all by her lonesome, but it's going to get some help from Onskin and Ibrahimian, so she'll be in a 3-car draft. First laps on the board, 46.674. Onskin a 45.574, 614 for Dylan Ibrahimian. Sarah Taylor in the 36. Driving I think that's the Centrox Chevrolet. This is another car that will have to qualify on time. This car has no owner points to fall back on to get a provisional. But it looks like she's going to get swallowed up by that 3-car draft. Ashlyn Wright, who goes 3rd quickest, but it'll probably be not for long. Driving the Brian's Meat Chevrolet out of Michael Waltrip Racing. This is another car that will have to qualify on time. No points to fall back on to get a provisional. Quentin Moore in the 89 machine, the Racing for Jesus. He will have to attempt to qualify for all 3 races this weekend. No points to fall back on to get a provisional. 46.098. He's going to need a drafting help. Muhammad Zain, 46.015. Another car that will have to qualify on time. Right now, the 37 is yet to post a lap. Mia Watts, trying to make the show, goes to the top of the timesheets of 44.596 for the Georgia Pacific. This car finished outside the top 35 in last season's points. Way down the bottom of the points table. Michael Brown, no points to fall back on to get a provisional, as he's another driver that will have to qualify on time. He's going to be racing this weekend. Brenda Eveling needs to qualify her way in on time. Same with Christian Williams. Brenda Eveling, 40th in last season's points. Christian Williams, no points to fall back on to get a provisional. Marty Stevens, who was involved in that wreck, if you weren't with us in yesterday's Coca-Cola Clash for the Winston Cup Series drivers. Got an earful from his team owner, Jack Roush. Wasn't happy about him running in the back of Riley Anderson. Daniel Gitteroth, 6th quickest. That's another car who will need to qualify on time. Carlos Rodriguez, 46.192 as he improved his time after they had to put a brand new engine in that Dodge. Rodriguez needs to make the show on time. Ashlyn Wright's got a drafting partner, so that's definitely going to help. Sarah Taylor is now on the bubble. That's because she was all by her lonesome. Ashlyn Wright's definitely going to pick up her time because she's gotten caught up to the 37 of Carlos Rodriguez. So those two are definitely going to draft and definitely improve their time. And 44.739, definitely a good lap for her. Rodriguez did improve his lap, but he's on the outside looking in. There's Summit Oskin. Sarah Taylor now 6th quickest. That puts Ashlyn Wright now on the bubble. Chloe Erickson did improve her lap. Well, as soon as I say that, the 14 gets to 6th quickest. Sarah Taylor is now on the bubble. Muhammad Zain, 44.522. Coming to 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this qualifying session. With the exception of Eveling, as looks like Zane's going to come to pit road. There's Brenda Eveling, and she's still trying to find some speed. Brenda Eveling still looking for some speed. Currently the slowest in this session. Cannot improve. Christian Williams could not improve either. Ashlyn Wright's on the outside looking in, trying to beat a 5.71. 44.469 bumps the 14 on the outside looking in, but the question is going to be for how long? Rodriguez goes up to a 44.457. It is now critical at this stage to get a drafting partner. So Sarah Taylor on the outside looking in, but she's in a drafting partner with a 33. Chloe Erickson trying to get herself locked into the show in the unsponsored 46 machine. Doesn't improve her time, despite being in a draft. 44.251 for Dylan Ibrahimian. There's Brenda Eveling. So it's looking very likely Brenda Eveling is not going to make the show, unfortunately, because she doesn't have a drafting partner. Christian Williams may not make the show. That's a big one right there. Marty Stevens is also in danger of going home. That's 3 big names, right? That's three teams from big organizations that would fail to qualify. The 24, 25, 97. 2 out of Hendrick Motorsports, 1 out of Roush Racing. It's like Sarah Taylor right now would not make the show. Ashlyn Wright's the driver we're looking at, who is on the bubble. she would be the last car to get in the show. She's trying to do the triple along with Carlos Rodriguez and Michael Brown. Michael Brown's second quickest. I think that's going to get him in the show. Zeros on the clock. That's going to do it for this session. But remember, laps will still count. Let's see if Wright can improve. Does not. Rodriguez did not improve. Gitteroth doesn't improve. Gitteroth is going home. Oskin is going to be in. Sarah Taylor just missed out, so Ashlyn Wright dodged one bullet. Those two didn't improve. Ibrahimian's not going to improve. Brenda Evelyn, I don't think, is going to improve. Same with Christian Williams, who only ran a 45.437. So I think Ashlyn Wright just caught herself a lucky break. Can Quentin Moore improve? The answer is no. It looks like they've already stopped scoring. So it looks to me we have our 7 drivers that are locked in the show. They are Dylan Ibrahimian, Michael Brown. That pleases Nathan Orman. Simon Oskin, Mia Watts, Chloe Erickson, Carlos Rodriguez. That's 2 of Nathan Orman's male drivers. Both of them will make the show, and Ashlyn Wright will make the show. She got the final transfer spot. She will get to race next Sunday. So she gets to have 3 races this weekend instead of 2 that she already had planned. Unfortunately, that will mean the drivers who failed to qualify for the Coca-Cola race will be Sarah Taylor, Mohammed Zain, Daniel Gitteroth, Christian Williams, Quentin Moore, Marty Stevens, and Brenda Evelyn. Those 7 drivers will unfortunately DNQ this weekend's races here at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. So now we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to get these 7 drivers to get their cars cooled off. They will join the other 35 drivers, the top 35 from last season's owner points. We'll come right back and find out who will start on the pole for the Coca-Cola race next Sunday. Don't go anywhere, folks. Qualifying continues here on the Blue Hedgehog TV. And welcome back to Pole Day qualifying for the Winston Cup Series, as we will not see them on track until next Sunday, so they will be off. They'll get a chance to debrief with their crews after this session is done. Looks like first driver out on the track is the 18 machine. That is Jerry Harvick. He will be the first car on the track as we begin the 15-minute session for this group, or the overall group, all 42 drivers. You look at the drivers who failed to qualify. That's 3 big That's 2 big teams on that list that DNQ'd. You know, the 97, the 24, and the 25. Now they'll have to try again and try to make their first starts of the season, which will be next week at Rockingham, North Carolina. All 3 series will be racing there next week. Jerry Harvick, the first driver out on the track. Cloud cover has ascended here over Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Had a little front that just came through, but we're going to probably see some faster speeds nevertheless. There's Chloe Erickson, who just raced her way into the show. Some lap times are already posted. Some of their pit stalls are behind the start-finish line. It's because their pit stalls are behind the start-finish line, so that means that is their get up to speed lap, and then their first lap will count. Jerry Harvick, 44.885. That is the first driver to take a time. Look at the speeds. 247 entering these corners. So we're looking at Ashley Reynolds. Was involved in that wreck yesterday. If you were with us for the Clash, Thankfully, all the drivers involved in that wreck were okay, especially the 01 and the 15 yesterday. That was a big hit by those drivers. Monica Towns currently the fastest time. Monica Towns picking up right where she left off. I think with the higher speeds, as there's Carlos Rodriguez, there's Vinko Seaman, Todd Montgomery, Jessica Miller, Mia Watts, who made the show, Betty Barrett's coming out on the track, Kevin Joseph, Nathan Orman, who is replacing the now banned Zachary Taylor, running the number 5. He's locked in the show because of the fact the 5's owner points was high enough to stay in the top 35. That was the right Courtney Lynn drove last season. There's Josephine Bouvier. That's Luke Knight in the 40. In a Blue Jay, Ashley Horton, Jacob Tutu. Lucy Myers, making her Winston Cup Series debut, was one of the drivers who did well in the Busch Series to go up to Winston Cup. There's Annie Thomas, Maddie Crenshaw, Betty Johnson, Liliana Beta. This was the big surprise that a lot of people did not see coming. Liliana Beta replacing Annie Winters in that ride. We're not sure what the reason is, but we don't know what the reason it is for Annie Winters, but that's a tough break for, Annie Winters not returning. But good to see Liliana Beta. She's going to run the Busch race just to help her out on the Cup program, which she's not going to run every race. There's Senor Sean in the Hera Casino Chevrolet for Robbie Gordon Motorsports. Sean had a race to forget yesterday as he ended up finishing a lap down in the 19th position. The good news is for Senor Sean, that was at least I learned something for next Sunday. So far, he's currently 17th quickest on the board. Well, his name's continuing to drop, but Senor Sean's got something he wants to prove. There's Michael Anderson in the 20. Back for his second season in the Home Depot Monte Carlo, as that was not what I asked you to do, yet dart being found. Right now, the fastest is there's Riley Anderson. Got caught up in that big wreck yesterday. Samantha Granger, who ran the class yesterday. Brad Lewis back for another season. There's Dylan Ibrahimian. He raced his way in. There's the defending Busch Series champion, Jay Green, carrying car number 1 because he is in the Winston Cup Series as the defending series champ. Ben Erickson, the 41. There's Summit Oskin. He raced his way in. This driver, this is, by the way, a backup car for the 01. Remember, he was involved in a wreck yesterday because I think they were going to use that same car for this qualifying session. This is a backup car for Ben Tennyson. Drake Robertson, another Busch regular, moved up from Busch to Winston Cup. There's our winner yesterday, Monica Towns. Monica Towns in the 19 machine. Monica Towns. First time she's won, that's not with Zachary Taylor. There's Michael Brown. Lena Aurora the slowest, but it really doesn't matter on a drafting track like this. That's Jacob Tutu. Timmy Turner, he's in a backup car along with Vanko Seaman. Remember, they crashed their cars in the clash yesterday, so they had to go to a backup car. Annie Crenshaw had a engine problem, almost caused a wreck. The officials did ask her to go to the Winston Cup hauler, the big red truck, to have a little discussion with her. Cody Smart got involved in the first caution of the race yesterday, where he had the right front damage. They did fix his car, which is the right front fender right here on his Altel Dodge. So they got that car fixed up. Todd Montgomery in the 77. There's Ashley Reynolds. Tatum Wright. Betty Barrett not having a good qualifying effort. There's Nathan Orman. Ashley Horton. I don't see Courtney Lynn. I don't think Courtney is in this race if I recall correctly. I'll have to look it up and see which car she's in for Winston Cup. Oh, Courtney was supposed to drive the 25. But Courtney Lynn is not here at the track. She's actually back home. She's back home with the flu. That's why she's not here this weekend. But she is tuning into the broadcast, so we want to say hi to Courtney Lynn. Get well soon. We'll probably see her in the car next time out at Rockingham, North Carolina, or she's probably going to be in the Craftsman Truck Series race later this weekend. As they're going by Jacob Tutu in the 29, down the near 5 minutes here in pole day qualifying. A 7.26 for Todd Montgomery. That's definitely a fast Kodak Dodge. Tatum Wright in the 38th quickest. Really doesn't matter where you qualify. It matters where you finish, so I would be worried if I'm Tatum Wright. Of course, she gets to race with her sister, who raced her way into this event. And Ashlyn's going to be in all three races, as I mentioned this weekend. Going to run the truck race, locked in the show in that series. Going to be in the Busch race, taking over for the now banned Jared Underhill's spot. She's locked in the show in that race. All she had to do was race her way into this race, and she's going to run. She's going to run all three series. Oh, she's going to do it for Rookie of the Year. Oh, by the way. As Todd Montgomery in the 77. Right now, the quickest driver, 3/10 over Vanko Seaman. I wonder if that car's got... I don't think that car has ratings. I think it's because of the speeds. There's Margaret Jacobs in the 8. Timmy Turner, Drake Robertson. I'm really curious about how these rookies are going to do. In particular, Drake Robertson did well in the Busch Series last season. And we are told that we're going to have Courtney Lynn. She's actually gone down to the Busch Series just to get ready. Of course, she's not running the Winston Cup Series. She will on a part-time schedule. So Courtney Lynn figured she wanted to win a Busch championship. Makes a lot of sense. Of course, she's going to drive one of the entries that is locked into the show based on last season's points. As I just got a ping in the Discord. Oh, it's from an Uno server that I'm in. Of course, I was going to do a practice game in one of the deals, but because they were getting ready to stream a game, I decided to back out of it at the last second. So it's like, well, I'll do one when I feel like it. There's Hannah Blue Jay, Samantha Granger, Josephine Bouvier. So Courtney Lynn will definitely contend for the Bush Championship this season. She is locked in the show because of the owner points. As I don't know why I flipped it over to TV2. I went on TV1. I really don't think anybody's going to touch a 42.776. And of course, Brenda Ealing's also going to be in the Bush series, so I wouldn't be surprised about that. I think probably, I think Nathan Orman felt like, the two girls really needs to win a championship, probably go down the Bush, probably make a name for themselves, which wouldn't be a bad idea for Courtney and Brenda. Because I can tell you, they struggled last season in Winston Cup. So, I mean, really struggled. The thing is, for the Winston Cup Series drivers, they will not be on track until next Sunday, so they're going to have a week off. So that's good. So they'll get to go see their families, spend the week with their families after this qualifying session is done. We'll see the Craftsman Truck Series that is next on the agenda, but that won't be until Wednesday, or that won't be until Thursday. I said Gorgon qualifying was on Wednesday. It's actually going to be on Thursday. It'll be the first session, so it'll be just like what we had for the Winston Cup Series. Gorgo home qualifying in round 1. Round 2 will be the main event. Now, if we have less than 42 drivers, then we'll just have pole day qualifying, which is 1 round. By the way, qualifying is done for the Winston Cup Series. And there's your fastest driver. And looks like no one's going to be at a 42.776. So Todd Montgomery in the Kodak Dodge for Penske Racing will start on the pole for next Sunday's season opener for the Winston Cup Series. Looks like times are going to be finalized, So Dodge picking up right where they left off, was quick in the qualifying session for the Clash. Of course, the 45 had an engine failure. So Dodge really needed that effort, if you ask me, as we're going to go ahead and pause it. And let's show you your starting lineup for next Sunday's race. Todd Montgomery is on the pole position, so this will be his first pole on the season. So Dodge picking up right where they left off in season 1 when they made the playoffs. Vanco Seaman picking up right where he left off in row number 1, as he'll be on the outside of front row. Here's a good story. These two ladies right here, Maddie Crenshaw, Monica Towns, two ladies who we didn't even know what was going to happen to them. Ricky Cervantes gives them a chance, picks them up through waivers and all that. They're going to start on the second row together. For Maddie Crenshaw, that's big confidence booster for her. After the rough year she had, in her final year with Indiana Motorsports, the team shut down at the end of season 1. We didn't know what was going to happen to Maddie Crenshaw. She's going to start third with her with her teammate Monica Towns, who, by the way, can Monica Towns do something that's never been done before? Win the Clash and the season opener in the same year. We didn't have that happen in season one because, well, we didn't have a Clash in season one. Just pointing that out. Cody Smart, Ponzo Alvarez in row number 3. Ponzo picking up right where he left off. Highest rookie, Liliana Beta. What impressive job for her. Did well in the Busch Series last season. She's going to be the highest rookie. Out-qualified a number of veteran drivers. Fair play to Liliana Beta. Jerry Harvick will be alongside her. Betty Johnson. Ashlyn Wright, who's going to be possibly running the entire Winston Cup schedule. Complete the top 10. That's some big teams she's out-qualified there. Chloe Erickson, Michael Brown. Good qualifying. Annie Thomas, good qualifying effort from her. We're looking through the rest of the results. Jay Green starting 18th in his first Winston Cup race. Samet Oskin 21st. Dylan Ibrahim 23rd. Nathan Orman 27th. The good news for Ormy, don't freak out. It's just qualifying. And you can pass. Everybody we know can pass. Passing is available. This is a drafting track. This is not like Texas where you're going to conserve tires, but anybody can win wherever. If you're starting 21st or down here at the bottom of the results, some big names I'm seeing down here that didn't qualify. Well, Tatum Wright, 30th. Well, Tatum Wright got out-qualified by her younger sister. Fair play to Ashlyn Wright. I'm not trying to make a joke about that or anything. Jacob Tutu, 32nd. Riley Anderson, 33rd. Remember, Riley Anderson is in a backup car after she was involved in that wreck. That's, by the way, her first laps in that backup car. Keep that in mind. Same with the 15. Those were first laps led in the backup car. Annie Crenshaw, by the way, got an engine change. She will not have to go to the rear of the field because you do get a free engine change for the weekend on speed weeks. Drake Robertson, Carlos Rodriguez didn't qualify it well. And look at the bottom. Bottom of there, 42nd, Jessica Miller. That's a big shocker right there. Big names down there at the bottom. Chip Ganassi, Luke Knight, Jessica Miller going to bring up the rear of the field. But I talked about Coca-Cola, drafting track. You can pass. A lot of 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide that could get really crazy. So if you are the drivers back here at the rear of the field, don't be too disappointed. You can pass here. You can make up a lot of spots. You can go from last to win. You can win anywhere in this area right here. So they won't be too disappointed. I know Ormy's going to be disappointed with 27, but remember, anything can happen here at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Hope you guys enjoyed this qualifying session. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the World Racing Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast or retransmitted or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the World Racing Association, the Blue Hedgehog TV is prohibited. Blue Hedgehog TV and the World Racing Association want to thank you fans for your support. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. We have shown you your starting lineup for next Sunday's Coca-Cola season opener. We hope you will join us on Thursday for pole day qualifying for the Craftsman Truck Series, which is looking like it's going to be a 42 truck field. That means nobody goes home as of this recording, so yay. So they'll just have one round of qualifying instead of 2, and probably going to be the same way for Busch, pending what happens with those signups there. So hope you guys will join us on Thursday afternoon. We'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as far as that's concerned. And now for our studio engineer for this awesome deal, Patrick Watson. I'm Dean DeVos. Thank you for joining me and saying goodbye from Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Congratulations to Todd Montgomery. Can he turn that pole into a win next Sunday? You'll have to tune in to find that answer out next Sunday. So until then, bye-bye!